Welcome back to Did You Have To, the podcast where two bad bitches talk about anime. And here are your hosts, Kate and Nisha. Yeah! Nisha's quirk, stress ball. By internalizing her stress about the world being in chaos and crime, she converts that stress into a superpower, becoming a badass. Kate's quirk, waifu warrior. By just watching her favorite shows, she can manifest real or fictional characters into the real thing. They come to life and fight by her side. Not every character does it though. She has to find the individual really hot. Yeah!
Hey everybody, welcome back to Did You Have To? And today we're talking about Studio Ghibli's first film in like 4 years, Earwig and the Witch. I'm Kate.
And I'm Nisha.
And I have feelings.
I have feelings too. Disappointed feelings, but
we gotta unpack those feelings. But before we get started, we should tell y'all what Earwig and the Witch is if you don't know. So Earwig and the Witch is directed by Goro Miyazaki, Hayao Miyazaki's son. It is a CGI feature film from Studio Ghibli. This is the first CGI feature film that the studio has ever put out, and it's the first feature film that Ghibli has released in 4 years. It is based on a novel of the same name by Diana Wynne Jones. She also wrote Howl's Moving Castle, and features the voices of Shinobu Terajima, Etsushi Toyokawa, Gaku Hamada, and Kokoro Hirasawa. The premise of the movie is in 1990s England. Wait, what?
That was 1990.
That was not 19. That was like the British invasion. Like, that was the 90s?
This is so... I mean, sure. British punk rock. I don't know.
The 60s.
That looks even this.
The
yeah,
90s
you're right.
with Spice Girls.
Yo, I really did not think this was the 90s. That looked like the 60s.
Are there still like orphanages in the 90s?
No, because everything she used, the radio, that didn't look like everything looked old.
Even her clothes.
That was the 90s. That was supposed to be the 90s.
Well, now
even the adults' clothes, not even the demon and the witch's clothes, just like the other adults look like they were in the 1960s.
So now I have another problem with this movie. Okay, Earwig and the Witch.
Sure.
Earwig, a 10-year-old orphan girl who grew up without knowing that she's the witch's daughter, is taken from the orphanage by a strange duo and starts living with them. Which is a very sparse plot because, spoiler alert, this movie is only an hour and 20 minutes and there's barely any plot to it to begin with.
There's not a conflict in... what happens is I can't even call the conflict in the movie an actual conflict. I feel bamboozled. There, yeah. I'm just going to say it. I feel bamboozled.
Yeah. So let's dig into this. This is where, if you've listened to the show before, you know that we do spoilers. Earwig and the Witch is out today, so you can go watch it. Or you can just listen to us. Because I want to start. Okay, let's save the going in on some of the issues for the later part. Let's talk about the animation first.
Yeah, I like that. No, but seriously, I think the animation is probably... So with this being Studio Ghibli's first, feature film that's done in 3D CGI, I think, and this is me like after Lupin the Third the First, so I'm all for 3D CGI movies in anime because they can be done really well. Like I honestly used to hate CGI anime just because there's like Gantz, and then there's Saint Seiya.
Saint Seiya reboot, and even the Cyborg 0091 too.
Yeah, even that. And there's just like that's my scale, and I'm like, I'm not saying Gantz is perfect, but Gantz is pretty good for a 3D CGI or a CGI anime
Oh
animation.
yeah, it really is. And we have a review up if you're listening to this and you haven't listened to our Gantz Zero episode or Gantz O. I don't know if we ever figured out if it was a zero or an O.
We still don't
But
know.
yeah, but the animated movie, we talked about that. We had pretty positive feelings on it because it was really pretty.
Yeah, beautiful. They didn't move blocky. Their lips really match well with what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, going off of that, this definitely leans more towards the level of Gantz and Lupin the Third the First versus Saint Seiya, which just looks like it should have been a video game. So, I like this animation a lot. Like, it's smooth.
Yeah, I think it's definitely not as detailed as Lupin because
Mm-hmm.
in Lupin you could see like the individual strands of their hair. The fabric was I was specifically thinking about like Fujiko, like all
Mm-hmm.
of her clothes were extremely detailed. And it's not that this one isn't, but this one has that simplistic Ghibli style,
Right.
but done in CG. And I think for me, it was a little weird to me at first, but then I just fell in love with how they animated the hair, like in the
Mm-hmm.
thick strands, and it just looked nice. And just the roundness of it all. Like you could tell I think while it took me a lot to get used to it, and I'm still hit or miss with CG, especially for anime.
Mm-hmm.
The CG animation here really captured the heart of Ghibli animation.
Yeah.
The round faces, the softness, the scenery, and I think that in that it did really well, especially in the musical sequences of the film.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's definitely like the hairs, like the hair, like the style, the faces, like it's all Ghibli. It doesn't look like they tried to do something that's completely different from what Ghibli has done before, like the style, which I'm
Yeah.
really happy they didn't because I've seen that done with some CGI films. And it just does not work out well. So I was pleasantly, I mean, yeah, I would say I was pleasantly surprised at how well the animation for the CGI like adapted the CGI, the Studio Ghibli style. Like it felt seamless doing it that way.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Then we come to like the premise. There's a lot of
Hmm.
magic in this movie, but it's magic. It's magic in the Howl's Moving Castle way that it's magic. Like it's real boring magic. It's
Hmm.
how to win a dog competition. It's, all
Right.
these things. And somehow Earwig, who is renamed to what she renamed to? Is it Erica?
Erica. Yeah.
Yeah, like fuck that lady. Like immediately.
Right.
Um Earwig is like so she's adopted by this big witch who is a witch and this big tall demon guy who is a demon guy.
Hmm.
He's a little attractive.
Oh,
Let's just
shocker.
say that.
Easy now.
Love it. But and you can clearly tell that they're magical. Like they stand out in
Hmm.
all of the scenes that they're in. They just have different colors, different hairstyles, all of that stuff. And somehow Earwig is just like buys into is like, oh yeah, you're totally a witch. Teach me magic now. And I'm like, okay,
No
I
proof needed,
I
apparently.
guess you're just into it. That's cool.
Yeah.
And she's a little shit the whole time.
I was up like when it comes to Studio Ghibli heroines, let me say this. Chihiro was not always a favorite, but I like Chihiro more than this girl.
Yeah.
Chihiro is a
It's
whiny little brat sometimes and she grows out of
mhm.
it. But this girl, it's this whole, okay, when from the moment she's born or whatever, like growing up at the orphanage, she's always been able to make people do whatever she wants. There's never been any explanation for it. She's just like, I just get to do whatever I want and I can do, and people listen to me. And like, I guess we have to assume it's because she has magic abilities, but we just know, I don't know, does she just charm people? Is that her magic? Whatever. No. So it's that. But there's no magic like there's no magic or mysticism behind that, you know what I mean? That we don't
Yeah,
see
like she
happening.
has no clue that she's a witch's daughter.
Right. She has no clue how like that for the entire movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, I question even at the end of the movie, if she knows that she's a witch's daughter or that she has magic in her. So there's that. But yeah, it's the whole scene where like she's like, "Hey lady, teach me how to do magic if you are a witch." And not I just feel like, is this how this scene should have gone?
Yeah. There's like there's no build up really.
Mhm.
It's what happens afterwards too that also kind of bugs me, because she finds this library with the mandrake, which is the tall dude, tall purple dude,
Mhm.
with his writing, and she like realizes, oh yeah, magic is real because this room shouldn't exist, and there are these little bat demons that are adorable as all hell.
Yeah.
um and she doesn't question it, but we also never see that library again.
Yeah. I was
Like,
disappointed.
she saw it to pick up her mom's CD or record,
Yep.
which, I mean, the music in this movie is phenomenal, and the music sequence are phenomenal, and this song, the theme song in particular, is phenomenal. But like, she's just like, oh yeah, I love this song, and I'm kind of like, but why?
Right.
Why do you love the song?
Mhm.
And where did that whole room of books go? I get it's a magical house, but you're just not going to try to go back in there?
Right. Cuz I guess we've already said spoilers. First off, the movie that was described to us in the trailer felt very different from the movie that we watched.
The movie on the poster
Yeah,
is very different than what we watched.
exactly. And it's just like, I thought, yeah, so she doesn't know who her mom is. Okay, cool. And her mom is on the run from the other 12 witches. Ooh, exciting. Great. So that will be the big conflict, right? No, none of that. We don't get to see any of that. And that feels like the missing third act from this film. I'm sorry. I know we're like still talking about things we liked. I can't. That feels like it's missing. And I say that because it's mentioned in the beginning. Like she's like, I have to leave for a little while. I'll leave you here and you'll love it here. They have great shepherd's pie, whatever.
Yeah.
But the whole the mom and the demon and the mandrake and the other witch were in a band. That's never told to her. They don't tell her. I mean, I don't even know if they know that she's their old bandmate's daughter. I
I
just
don't even know if the mandrake and her mom fucked, and that's all I want to know.
I'm like,
Because,
is he your
like,
dad? Is
yeah,
that why he
because
dotes on you?
yeah, because he's like pulled to her, and he's such a good dad, like big dad
Yeah.
energy, man. He is. I love the
Dad
mandrake.
and Zaddy.
Yeah. He's probably my favorite character in the whole film.
Mhm.
But like like it's kind of hinted at because there's like a semi-romantic moment and then nothing else.
It's like
And then
minuscule. So
it's
small.
extremely minuscule. And then like the other thing is too, is given Ghibli's other films, which are pushing like 2 hours,
Mhm.
2.5 hours sometimes. This one being only an hour 20 does it a disservice, because you're completely right. There is no third act.
Mhm.
Like, we spend the majority of the movie with Earwig and the witch, title,
Right.
and she's learning and being a brat, and then she meets a talking cat and she learns how to do magic with the talking cat. She
Mhm.
makes a mandrake like pretty much just love everything she about her. And
Mhm.
then they have this montage where they're a happy family out of nowhere because the mandrake got mad at the Baba Yaga witch lady.
Yeah.
And then
For
all
the
of a sudden they're
worms.
happy. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're a happy family. And I'm like, okay, fine. But then it ends. It
That's it.
ends.
And like the Baba Yaga lady, like then I guess it takes is for Earwig to say, you were a fantastic drummer. I love your music. And then like that was enough for the woman to stop being mean to her and then decide to actually let her be her apprentice for real and show her how to do magic. Which I'm just like, I question a lot of the writing in this because there's
Mhm.
no, like you said, there's no buildup. And I hate to say that, like, I never thought I would not like a Ghibli movie.
Yeah.
I never thought it would come out of my mouth Because like, and y'all know how much I love Studio Ghibli. I have collected nearly all of the art books. I love all of
Someone bought her a dope Nazca manga set.
somebody who's just a godsend in my life, a little miracle. It's Kate. It's Kate is the person. But yes, so I'm like, I love Ghibli movies, and I hate that like I did not like this. And I'm like, I wanted to like this. I like things about it, but
Yeah.
it just I think it just really lacked build up. It lacked character depth. Um, like
It just feels like it ends. Like it just
yeah,
ends and it feels like you haven't actually gotten anything because one of the beautiful things about Ghibli movies is how the young heroine grows, right?
yes.
In Princess Mononoke, she learns how to be vulnerable and open up to the world, right?
Mhm.
From being this feral child who will literally bite your neck.
Right.
In Spirited Away, Chihiro learns how to be appreciative and not a little brat and like forms close bonds with people and realizes the value of her family, right? In Spirit, like there is always a larger lesson. And in Earwig and the Witch, I guess found family was the lesson in there, maybe, but it doesn't feel like Earwig at the beginning and Earwig at the end are the same character.
Yeah.
She doesn't go through anything. And then we get this very quick montage of the Mandrake, Bella Yaga, or Baba Yaga, whatever the hell the blue haired
Yeah.
witch's name is.
It's like a play on
And
Baba Yaga,
it
like the
is.
actual folklore. It's like Yaga Baba, what I can't remember. But
Yeah.
anyways.
And you get them being a family and it's really cute and I like it, but then
Mhm.
you don't actually see the payoff because like the big thing is that the movie ends with her mom coming back and like technically we should get a scene that is the payoff of this long lost witch coming back to her coven and which was
Mhm.
her band and reuniting with her daughter and telling us what happened with the 12 witches that
Right.
they told us about, and like it starts with like this chase scene
Yeah.
and it's cool and then none of like it's all gone. We
And the
have
chase Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, the chase scene happens in the car that the Mandrake and the other witch are driving, or it's a car that looks just like theirs, but it's the
Mhm.
same kind of model, which, it's a yellow Beetle Volkswagen, just like in Lupin. So, anyways, I like that. But my point is, so we're not gonna talk about what was the significance of showing us that car that had teeth in the front of it and
Yeah.
her running away with her baby. Like what would have probably helped a lot, ha- introduce the 12 witches or whatever they are and have Earwig be kidnapped by one of them. And then like the plot is that the Mandrake and the other witch and her mom have to come together to go save her. Or like, so I'm just saying, because you
No,
mentioned
Nisha, we have to watch Earwig pick nettles like 5 different times.
and complain all the time. I just there's just I just needed there to be a payoff. I needed there to be something. I needed there to be build up. I needed there to be more of a plot besides because you're right. Studio Ghibli movies, all of the female, like not female characters, yeah, but most of the heroines are most of the protagonists are female characters,
Yeah.
but protagonists in general in Studio Ghibli movies, they have some kind of self growth.
Yeah.
Maybe they doubted their abilities. Maybe they found some courage within themselves. Maybe they learned how to be less selfish,
Yeah.
or they had an impact on somebody else.
Yeah.
I feel like that's another way that could have gone. And maybe it does that with the Mandrake and Baba Yaga, but not really.
No, because we don't get enough time with that. We don't actually
Right.
like they just go from being mean to not mean, and it makes no sense.
It makes no sense at all. And I
It
just wish it made sense.
yeah. It's frustrating because I genuinely think that this film could have been a lot better. Like I think in my written review, I gave it like a 6 or a 7, and
Mm,
it sucks to give it that because like there are like things to praise it for. Like the music is phenomenal, the score, the way
hmm
it really transports you, which is apparently 1990s England. I thought it was the 1960s, but whatever.
Yeah.
Um, like it transports you to that time in music history in a
Mhm.
beautiful way. And then there is like this use of like British rock, like British invasion rock,
Mhm.
punk, and then psychedelic rock, and it's really beautifully done, and it showcases how well they fit animation to music, especially with the scene design. But it's missing that like emotional punch that Ghibli comes with every movie. And
Yeah,
I think if they had had 30 more minutes, 45 more minutes, something to make it a full-length Studio Ghibli movie, please. Um
please.
it would be something more cuz it had the groundwork to be something, and somewhere along the way it just got lost.
Right. I'm just very curious because you're right. It feels like it got lost. Like, if honestly, I feel like there's a bunch of stuff on the cutting room floor that just got left out for whatever reason. I don't know, but it just feels like so much got cut out, and it does the movie a disservice. But then I'm curious about the source material because I have not read this book. I'm not familiar with it. I do love Howl's Moving Castle. So I'm curious about maybe checking out the source material only because I want to know if does this follow it? Like, is this what happens in the book?
So I heard that it doesn't follow it closely, but neither it didn't either to House. Like they have a lot of creative
Right.
liberties with it. But I would be interested to see how the book ends. Like, is there, because like when I finished watching it, I watched through the entire credits.
Hmm.
Beautiful ending theme, beautiful animation in the ending credits. But I was expecting like an end credit scene where like maybe it's just the mom talking with everybody or something.
Right.
Didn't happen
Or
though.
like even a montage of like them talk, like just even like sketches or something. I was just like looking for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, because you're right. Like, because I've read the House Castle books, and like, yeah, you're right. They don't follow the Studio Ghibli House Castle is much different from the book House Castle, which is fine and it does its own thing with it. And not saying they couldn't have done that here. I guess I'm just like, is this the plot from the book, or did you
Yeah.
just take the story from the book and it inspired this? Because I'm
Yeah.
just like, I can't think of anything that I've ever watched or read that didn't have an actual build up and like the model of a story. There's a build up, there's a conflict, there's all the stuff, there's a climax, and then there's a resolution. I feel like we didn't get any of that. We just went from like, I don't know, beginning to slight,
So
I don't know.
so I will say I feel like we do have a conflict, which is Earwig and the witch. Fine.
Mhm.
The climax, I guess, is supposed to be the revelation of the band thing, and the audience knows that it's a mother.
Mhm.
We get no fucking resolution.
Right.
We are still the only people that know that that is that woman's daughter.
Right. As far as we know,
As far as we know, yeah.
because
Also, I just want to know if they did it. I want to know if she's the Mandrick's daughter.
I'm pretty sure she's the Mandrake's daughter. I'm only going off the fact that her hair sticks up like devil horns. That's
Uh,
it.
That's smart. I did not even notice that.
I'm just going off. That's all I have to go off of because she does not look like her mother at all.
Uh-uh.
Like she has brownish, more not like very brown, not even like any hint of red hair. So yeah, that's the Mandrake. She's the Mandrake's daughter. That's it. It's because she has devil horned pigtails. That's my logic. I'm sticking to it. But
I'm down with that.
yeah.
That is more of an explanation than the actual movie gave us.
Right. Because, like, even Studio Ghibli in other movies will be like, yeah, here's a dash of romance. But, like, even then, I get more romance from, I don't know, Spirited Away, which it,
There's Yeah, well, that's the thing. I'm surprised because I feel like Studio Ghibli always has like an undercurrent of some sort of romantic tension.
right. Or some address about love. So, like, your whole, like you said, like, is it found family? Great. But it just feels like there's no real establishment of that bond besides her saying, "Hey, mister, I would love to read your work sometime, and like, hey, and like bugging him until like I guess he breaks down and like, oh, spoils her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how does she get the witch to give her like to listen and do whatever she wants? Because that's where I'm more like, I don't think the witch is gonna fall for this crap. The mandrake, fine, he's your daddy, but the, sh the witch seems like she would just be the more stern one.
Well, so that's the thing. I feel like there's like this big love triangle between the witch, the mom, and the mandrake,
Mm,
and we don't get to see any of it.
right,
And so, like, I think when the mandrake gets mad at the witch for treating her badly, because
right,
he's mad about the worms, but he's even more mad when he realizes that they were meant for her.
right.
And he tells the witch that she's not going to do it ever again.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But like, then she switches into like mommy mode. Like, it's not even just like, I'm going to resentfully do this with you, you weird child.
Right,
It's just straight mommy mode. And
right.
it's weird.
There's just like right because there's not even a moment where they actually have a conversation and maybe like I don't know. I was expecting maybe, hey, do you like our band? Let me tell you more stories about our band and like things that we did. Like I don't know, something like that even would have made sense. But no, not even that. The witch is just enamored with her as soon as she compliments her being a great drummer. And that's it. Cause you're right. The mandrake is the one who kind of steps in as like, she will never do that to you again. Which great, but I don't know. And you're right, there is like this unspoken love triangle because the witch that would the ones that I don't even know if we know what Earwig's mom's name is.
No, I don't think we
Well,
do.
the redhead witch and the green-haired witch, there's definitely love triangle between them and the Big Daddy Demon. Um, yes, that's what we're gonna call him now. Because literally Earwig's mom is about to kiss him, and the other witch just like swerves the car. I'm like, well, you little cock block. Like, what the heck? But oh my gosh, I don't know. I really wanted to like this, and I really like. I feel a way given that. So this is Hayao Miyazaki's son made this film.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being Hayao Miyazaki's child and making something and and it is not at least up to half the standard of the other Studio Ghibli films?
So like I feel bad because I feel like because it's not Miyazaki, he already has that like or he it's not Hayao Miyazaki, he has that burden already.
Exactly.
But then like to be the first CG film, like he's
Yeah,
literally like that's just a huge burden and I feel bad for him.
I do. And that's the thing. Like, I feel bad for you, my guy, because it's huge that it's the first CGI film in the Studio Ghibli universe, but it's also huge that this is his first Studio Ghibli
No,
film.
no, it's not his first.
Oh, it's not? Okay,
No,
good.
he did the
Woo!
he did Tales from Earthsea and from Up on Poppy Hill.
Oh, okay. Well, he's fine. This will, we all have to take some losses. Never mind. I feel for him because this is the first CGI. But woo, you've already
You
gotten
got
two under your belt. You'll be fine. He's taking criticism for sure. Also,
you got two good ones. You're
you
fine.
got two good ones. I mean, I don't really care for Tales from Earthsea. I didn't make it through all the way of that one, but I did like
I
Up on
love
Poppy
it.
Hill.
So I love Tales from Earthsea because I read the original Earthsea books by Ursula
Okay.
K. Le Guin. So I really loved it. If you're not into that stuff though, it can be real boring.
It looked like I would like it. I think I just watched it when I was sleepy. But from Up on Poppy Hill, chef's kiss, love it.
Yeah.
So he's fine. He can take criticism. I mean, this isn't his first film, and like I imagine it wasn't his first film, but like, could you imagine again? It's like being Michael Jordan's child and not being good at sports. It's like people like if you have a parent who's famously known and renowned for a certain work, and then you are following in their footsteps. that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But
No, it
I
really
mean,
is.
I think this film will get recognized for like the things that we said that we liked about it at least.
Yeah.
So I just
I
give us the third
I
act.
yes, exactly. I'm frustrated because it had potential.
Mhm.
I'm frustrated because it could have been great. And that's what bugs me.
Yep. That's it. That's really it. Cause I was expecting a lot more magical. Cause like the other movie that this reminds me of is Kiki's Delivery Service.
Mm,
And I just say because like witches and like the setting, like even the design in Kiki's compared to this one, they're slightly similar, which is why I was confused that this was supposed to be the 90s. Um,
I don't trust Wikipedia. I don't think this was supposed to be the 90s.
yeah,
Like
no,
it there's no way in hell that that was the
it
90s.
is the 60s, if not like 70s,
70s?
even like
Yeah.
late 70s. I'll give it late 70s, but yeah, no. But like even Kiki's Delivery Service, where like there is magic, but Kiki doesn't go on like some magical adventure that awakens her powers or she learns like she literally has to she gets depressed, starts to lose her magic, learns how to get her magic back. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I think I went into this wanting there to be a bigger plot with the magic.
Yeah.
Especially when they brought up how her mom was running away from the 12 witches. It really sets it up as if
Yes.
are the
It
12
starts with a whole ass car chase.
right.
They talk about the council of the 12 witches multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Who
Nothing.
are they? What do they do? What power do they have over your little coven? Like, is this all that your coven is? Is it just a band? Are there other witches like you? Like, so many questions and all unanswered. I just want the third act. I just feel like
Yeah.
that's gonna be my line in this. I just want the third
Third
act.
act. Yep. Yep. Cuz I this was probably one of the few films that like when it finished I was just like what the fuck? That's it? Like that's what we get?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I would like I'm mad at the ending because it doesn't feel I'm mad at the ending because it doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like it's gonna go to the next scene and you're gonna learn about her mom, but that doesn't happen.
Right. Which I was mostly interested in this movie because the mom, because
Mhm.
she's a very interesting and mysterious character, and I'm curious as to where the hell have you been and what have you been doing?
Well, like the whole poster for the movie is Earwig rocking out with the band behind her.
Right.
Earwig doesn't do shit when it comes to rocking
Oh,
out.
that's true. She doesn't. Isn't there even a scene? I'm gonna rewatch the trailer after this, but I'm pretty sure there's a trailer where like Earwig holds a microphone and is on stage. So we don't even get that. Because you're right, like there's a whole poster where Earwig is on stage and the band is rocking out. Like we do get the scene where she's like listening to their music and she is imagining herself at the concert. But even then she doesn't get on stage. Like so I don't know what that was supposed to be about.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's just really frustrating. And I there just needed to be more there because
Mhm.
even when you look at it being like magic based, it's not as fantastical
Yeah.
as you would expect.
Mhm.
It's very much about boring magic. It's about
Right.
magic that you use in everyday life. And the trailer, it really focuses on like the psychedelic moments and like that type of thing. And then you go and you watch it and it's not that at all.
Right.
And it's fairly misleading and it sucks because I don't know. Maybe I would have liked it if I hadn't come in with these expectations.
I mean, and I mean, I think that sucks that we have to say that because I don't like to put my specific expectations onto a piece of work because I try to come into it unbiased. But the trailer that showed us and the posters and like all the promotional stuff for this that we saw, I think told a different story that we did not get at the end of the day. Like I I don't know. I just feel like that's what set my expectations was the trailer. Like e- and to the point, like, yeah, even though like there is magic in the movie, but like as Kate's been saying, it's like boring magic. It's not like soup. Like I guess Mary's and the Witch's Flower was another G Kids film, but that's not Studio Ghibli. But like that is an example where like the fantasy and the magic play a big role in the plot, whereas like the fantasy and the magic does not play a big role here, and it just feels like I'm not saying they had to do that because like we've seen in other Studio Ghibli movies, you can have a very grounded plot and but have a good plot that has actual conflict and actual and character development and depth and story, whereas this one just felt very linear. There was like no dips and valleys for Earwig. It was just a very linear story and it felt bland.
Yeah, it was point A, point B, done.
Yeah, that's it. Because like even in the house that they live in is magical. We like you said the library, I like the library. I want to go back there and see more and learn more about it, but like we get it for one scene and then that's it. And I just I'm sad.
I am too.
Yeah.
But I guess let's wrap it up with some final thoughts and ratings.
Okay.
Yeah, so I gave it, I think it's like a 6.5, a 7 for me. It sucks because like technically, like on a technical standpoint, it's a good movie. The animation is gorgeous, the sound, the score, the character design is phenomenal. It's just that execution, man. Give me that third act and I would have given you a 10.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 6.5 also because like it really is the fact that we don't have any build up. I need conflict. I need character growth. I need that. We needed a third act. We needed something. And I feel like that's really big, but it is a well done movie. Like if I read the plot as it is done in the film, if I just read that before I went to go see this, I would be like, you made this movie. They did make a movie. It's great animation, great soundtrack, like it for those reasons. And I mean for Studio Ghibli's first CGI um movie, I think it's really well done how they adapted it.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I don't know. I'm going to stick to a 6.5. So it's not that I don't want them to take I don't want any negative feedback from this movie to mean that they don't try to make another movie like this in CGI because I would actually love to see another one.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're never going to do this. I would love it if they would just take the old ones and remake them in this just for the heck of it, because make more money off nostalgia. But Hayao Miyazaki ain't gonna never do that. But they did it with Pokemon, so why not?
So I think they may do it with stuff that Hayao didn't write and direct.
Okay.
Because that man is too protective over his work. He would not let them stop hand drawing backgrounds, Nisha. You
I
think that
know.
you
I
think
know.
he's
That's
gonna
why I'm
let them
like, so to my point, I don't want to see any of it then. Well, all the ones that I would love to see Spirited Away done in this animation style. Will they do it? Hell no.
Yeah.
That man gonna
But
send them a sword.
yes. No,
Yes.
I will say I'm thrilled to see what this opens for Studio Ghibli because Hayao
Mhm.
Miyazaki is not young, and so like the studio is gonna end up falling with Goro, and so it is
Mhm.
gonna be great to see where this takes them in animation because Studio Ghibli has defined feature animation for a very long time, and not just in Japan, in the West.
Right.
Like it, Studio Ghibli is that number one iconic studio that crossed crossed the ocean. I guess it's a
Yeah.
dumb thing, but like it's important and it's great. But I don't know what's next. I do want more of these. I just don't. I wonder if it was shorter because of how much work goes into CGI. But then I'm like, they hand painted backgrounds. So like, which
Right.
one is harder?
It's the first one in 4 years. That's all I'm gonna
Yeah.
say. So I don't know how long y'all worked on it. I don't know when the production started for this, but I will say if it just took longer, you could have delayed this movie and I happily would have waited if that means I would have gotten my third act.
Hmm.
Everything else has been delayed for COVID. Say it was delayed for COVID, but give me my third act.
Yep.
But anyways, yes, I am excited to see where this does take Studio Ghibli in the future because I do want them to continue to make more films. But until then, I don't know. Y'all can go and judge it for yourselves.
And so if you're listening to us right now, you can watch Earwig and the Witch on HBO Max. Or you can watch it in theaters, but I don't recommend that because COVID's getting worse, not better.
Yep.
So log into HBO Max. And if you want to let us know what you're feeling, if you don't agree with us, if you do agree with us, head on over to DYHT_pod on Twitter. And you can find me at Oh My Myth Randier on Twitter and Instagram. Instagram is all manga all the time, mostly yaoi.
Mostly yaoi. That's just your tagline right there. Put that on. Oh, that's our sweatshirt. There we go.
Mostly yaoi.
Mostly yaoi. I like it. Also, you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Nisha Plays. I feel like at this point, my Instagram has just been where I drop my anime looks and t-shirts that I keep buying. But I love it. And also cosplays, because I am planning on doing more cosplays now that I have my hair done and I look like somebody again. But yeah, so follow us over there. And with that, what were your expectations for Earwig and the Witch? Did you like it more than us? And is the Mandrake Earwig's daddy? Find out next time on Did You Have To? Bye.
Who's my daddy?
We're leaving on that note. Bye. Did You Have To is co-produced by Kate Sanchez and Lanisha Campbell. Our intro is done by Dr. Emery Stephen Daniel. And our outro and intro music is by Benjamin Tissot, aka Ben Sound.